You know, those people who dream about extraordinary success always are thinking about the future and wanting to get a better life. But at the same time, they're also procrastinating, wasting their own time, and failing to execute their plans on a consistent daily basis. And sure, they are ambitious people, but the problem with being ambitious is that it often can overwhelm you at the very start. Having these big dreams and goals, it's easy to fall into the trap of wanting to skip the beginner stages and comparing yourself to elite people online and wanting to skip the sacrifices and the hard work to get to the goals and the results immediately. And I think this takes such a big toll on our society today because, especially the way social media is geared to make it seem like all these people are living their lives and that they made it in life. It's just that all of the hard work and the process that went before them actually achieving their goals is pretty much ignored. And for ambitious people, and for ambitious people who see other people's success online, they may think that it's easy for them to replicate that same success rather easily. For me personally, one of the biggest things that stalled my execution and my consistency to work on a daily basis was the fact that I was consuming so much productivity content and not actually doing the work. So essentially, I was watching all of these motivational videos telling you to be disciplined and focus on your goals, wake up early, all of that stuff. Watching those videos gave me so much dopamine, and the fact that I felt like I was going to achieve these great things, I felt like I was already better than everyone just by watching these videos. But the biggest trap was that watching these videos wasn't actually transforming me as a person because I was choosing to watch these productivity videos and content over actually building and creating what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until weeks or months later that I realized I wasn't truly making any progress to reaching my goals. And that kind of forced me to reflect on what the past couple of months had looked like for me and those actions. And it made me realize that choosing to consume content, especially the productive kind of motivational videos, is not a bad thing. But you also shouldn't be watching those videos over creating and building your own identity and trying to reach towards your goals that you want to achieve. In this world, and especially for ambitious people, I hear this term being said around a lot, and this term is called if you're lazy but ambitious. And I think it's a really powerful insight to consider because if you think about it, laziness is merely a defense mechanism. People will avoid working because they think the goal is too big. People will avoid doing the hard work because they fear about failing and what others think. And just wanting certainty before even starting in the first place. And to be honest, I don't blame them for it because in the beginning, that first step is ultimately the hardest step. Because once you take that first step, you have momentum. And when you have momentum, you can keep on doing you when you have momentum, you're able to stick to your system and consistently execute the things that will eventually get you closer to your goals and make actual progress. And if you think about this in the reverse way, scrolling and fantasizing about what could be and planning what you're going to do over and over again. And if something doesn't work out, you just restart and go back to where you started, right? All of these things are making you believe that you're actually making real progress and making your brain think that what you're doing is on the right path, except that because it gives you a sense of productivity and that kind of dopamine is what tricks your brain into thinking you're making all this big progress when the only actual thing you need to do is to take action and to build momentum. And I believe the way to get rid of laziness as your defense mechanism and actually just do the hard things is to build consistent systems that you can always rely on instead of solely on emotional motivation. I've talked about this in my other videos, where if you have a system that is geared towards your goals, right? Automatically, your habits and your behaviors, ideas, all of those things start to become stronger and be more consistent, and you're a much more disciplined person as a whole. A lot of people are not aware of this, but small actions do compound over time. And it's just for many people, it's just hard to see that vision in the very beginning where you haven't reached a very far point yet. But if you think about consistency and how it works, you'll know that if you just do daily small actions consistently for long periods of time, eventually you'll reach breaking point. And after that breaking point is where everything goes exponential. All that effort you put in and the discipline and your ability to follow your own systems, that eventually is going to compound and you will see the results. So if you're in this trap of feeling ambitious but also lazy at the same time, then the likely reason for that is probably because you're overwhelmed. But the key idea here is that if you recognize taking action is the only way to make progress towards your goals, then automatically you're also going to be able to build your own consistent system that you can rely on to execute on a daily basis. And over time, it'll become clear that momentum matters so much more than intensity. You just need enough consistency for your future to take off. If you found value in this video, then I encourage you to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me as a small teen content creator, and I'll see you guys in the next video.